How's it going, you guys? I'm Landon, and you guys are watching another Most Amazing Top 10 video. Thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you for being a subscriber. Okay, there are a lot of people that claim to be prophets or have, like, psychic abilities. They make predictions about the future, and sometimes their prediction comes true. In fact, some of the most impressive predictions in history came true centuries after they were made. So let's take a look at the top 10 insane predictions that actually came true. Starting things off like we always do, number 10 with Tanahoy. When he predicted the Oklahoma City bombing. On the morning of August 19, 1995, during an interview with a radio station, Tanahoy said there would be a terrorist attack in the United States that year, and the target would be a federal building, and it would be worse than a 1993 World Trade Center bombing. 90 minutes later, the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City was bombed, where 168 people died and many other people were injured. Moving on to number 9, Robert Boyle. He predicted organ transplants. In a handwritten list from the 1660s, he would make many predictions about the future, and one of those was the cure of disease by transplantation. Keep that in mind that Robert Boyle lived during the pre-Enlightenment era, so this idea of organ transplantation was incredibly forward-thinking. Nikola Tesla predicted Wi-Fi, I mean what the heck, and mobile phones in 1909, and this comes in at number 8. More than 60 years before the first cell phone, and 90 years before the introduction of Wi-Fi, Nikola Tesla, the gifted electrical engineer, told the New York Times that it will be soon possible to transmit wireless messages all around the world. It would be simple. Any individual can carry and operate his own apparatus. We now know that today as cell phones. Next up, number 7, Nostradamus predicted the Great Fire of London. He was a French physician who published several collections of prophecies that became famous. He predicted that the fire will burn the blood of the just in London in 1666. Well, this actually came true during the Great Fire of London that took place on September 5th, 1666, when fire swept through vital parts of London, which killed thousands of people. Mark Twain predicted his own death, and this comes into this list at number 6. He was a famous writer, and he never claimed to be a prophet, but many people were amazed after he accurately predicted his own death. Well, I'm gonna predict my own death. One day I'm gonna die. Let's see if I'm right. Well, in one of his novels, he wrote that he was born in 1835 when Halley's Comet was visible, and he predicted that he would die when the same comet would be visible again. Surely he died in 1910 when Halley's Comet reappeared. Keep in mind that this was a very short time period when this comet can actually be seen. It is only visible from Earth every 74 to 79 years. So he predicted his death within about a 5-year time period. Number 5, Jeffrey Palmer predicted volcano eruption, tsunamis, and Hurricane Katrina. He predicted the volcano eruption and subsequent tsunamis in Sumatra in December 26th of 2004. He also became famous for his accurate prediction of Hurricane Katrina in 2005, which claimed almost 2,000 lives in the United States. Robert Heinlein predicted the Cold War, which comes in at number 4. In one of his short stories, he wrote about the United States, which would develop a nuclear war before the rest of the world, and it becomes a major superpower that would ignite a race among other nations to develop a similar bomb. This is exactly what happened with the nuclear arms race and the Cold War. This short story was written in 1940 before the United States had joined World War II. Now at number 3 is Edgar Cayce, and he predicted World Wars I and II and the Great Depression. He was known for his strange ability to prophesize future events with high accuracy. He quickly rose to popularity because of his prediction of the start and the end of the wars of World War I and World War II and the end of the Great Depression. And he also predicted the death of Franklin Roosevelt. Jules Verne predicted the Apollo moon landing, which comes into our list at number 2. In 1865, more than 100 years before the Apollo 11, he wrote about the first trip to the moon in a short story. He even knew the rocket would launch from Florida, the name of the ship, the correct number of astronauts aboard, and the feeling of weightlessness that they would experience when they were on the moon. Finally, in number 1, Dmitri Mendeleev, who predicted the modern day periodic table nearly perfectly. When he began his research in 1863, scientists only knew about 60 or so elements, and since then, we had discovered more than 40 more. So by organizing elements, atomic weight, and properties, he started to see patterns. He noticed the gaps in the table, and he predicted elements that would likely fill them. So he was able to predict the weights and the property of the missing 40 plus elements perfectly. That is insane. Well, there you guys have it. Let me know if you guys have any predictions in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys all in the next Most Amazing Top 10 video.